This podcast is sponsored by YSC Real Estate Group, offering a tailor-made service, versatility and expertise for all your real estate needs. Are you thinking about selling, buying, investing or having your properties managed? For more information, check our website, www.yscrealestategroup.com. We are passionate about real estate and we love to support local businesses. We hope you guys enjoy the podcast. Cheers.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 43. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button on YouTube or Spotify. It's greatly appreciated.
Yes. Today, we have a special guest.
They're all special guests, Dave.
Of course they are. Jay Hsu, the co-founder of Black Box Customs. They're a firearms customization business operating out of Calgary for the last 7 years.
Boom. Black Box Customs. Black Box Customs.
It's a mouthful for sure.
It is.
Yeah.
Do you want to kind of elaborate what the business is, what you guys do, and then I guess we could start from there.
Where we are right now as a business versus where we were when we first started is very, very different. So where we are now is more of a jack of all trades business. And that we grew into that pretty organically over the last 7 years. Mm-hmm. Our primary business is firearms customization, retail of firearms, the retail sales of parts and accessories, and we do a lot of other like industrial work, whether that's coatings, product design, product manufacturing, for a whole wide range of different industries, not just specifically the firearms industry. And that's only purely because we have the capacity, we have the equipment to do so. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what we do now.
Yeah. So 7 years ago, what was it like when you guys first started it then? Like,
it was just a hobby, like 100% just a hobby. There was really no plans to do this as a business at all when we first started. What we did was just try to get a lot of these types of modifications on firearms that we saw in the U.S. because the U.S. market is obviously the U.S. culture for firearms customization is like totally different. You know, it's part of their Second Amendment. It's like a right down there, and Canada kind of just piggybacks off of the culture from the U.S. when it comes to firearms. So obviously we saw a lot of customization out of the U.S. that we were interested in. So we started doing research to see who was kind of doing it in Canada, and basically nobody was doing it at that point in time.
Like gun customization.
Yeah. So for example, me and my friends were sport shooting for like probably a year and a half. Before we thought about doing a lot of the customization that we ended up offering. And it's a firearm in Canada. It's kind of like this really serious thing. You don't want to just like go in and take a hacksaw to it and start making these random cuts, and you don't want to just start spray painting it. There's all these, you're firing ammunition. There's pressures involved. There's, it's a mechanical thing. And if you don't do it correctly, there's, something bad could happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it could
backfire,
blow up or whatever,
explode,
right? Explode.
Yeah. So, we were really hesitant on obviously doing our own work.
Because is there training on that or like?
For sure. There's gunsmithing courses and stuff like that you can take. Yeah. So we were just doing the research in Canada, seeing who was doing it, and basically nobody was, for the most part, like in one location.
When you're saying we, you guys, a group of people, you have a business partner,
right? Yeah. So
let's hear it all. How it all started. Yeah. Let's actually start with that, like the backstory, how you got into that, and like
the history.
Right. So what was I doing? I was working for this company called 911 Supply, and that's like within the firearms industry, kind of like we'd sell holsters, we'd supply a bunch of different equipment to law enforcement, military, first responder, like bodyguards that needed like slash proof armor or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I was kind of like in that world, and I'd like constantly. I was in sales, so I was like constantly meeting new people, and I met these two individuals, Vince and Ringo, which are part of the shareholders of Black
Ringo.
Box. Yeah, Ringo. Yeah. Oh yeah. Totally. Yes. That
Sounds like a shooter.
Oh, for sure.
It's named after the Beatles drummer.
Yeah. Or yeah, like we call him Django because he's just it's very Western. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so like these two Asian kids basically, and that like we kind of bonded over cars and shooting. So yeah, I was just out at a range and we were just. I was shooting with a coworker and I ran into them because I recognized them from a couple shop visits, and they were getting really into it. And I have like a pretty addictive personality, and so did they. Like they are like, that's how we get along, and that's how we kind of met at the beginning. Because I was going, but the people around me or the friends I knew weren't going as much as I wanted to. So I kind of like befriended Vince and Ringo, which were going probably at the peak of it. We were probably going 3 to 4 times a week
to the gun range.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so we were just shooting a lot and kind of diving into that hobby. And
that's a lot to go 3 to 4 times a week to shoot guns and stuff. Yeah.
So just to give you a metric, we were probably shooting 10,000 rounds of 9mm, like handgun ammunition a year.
Shit.
So like when you watch on the news, like they raid someone's house, they're like, oh my God, we found all this this cache of weapons and ammunition. We had 400 rounds of 9mm. I'm like, 400 rounds of 9mm is like nothing. That's like one session for us. Like that, like it's not a really like large volume. So it's something kind of laughable sometimes when you hear what's on the news. But we were just going a lot. And
what is it that you like adrenaline rush, or like what is it that you guys?
So it's just like, just think about, okay, so shooting handguns and shooting rifles and shooting shotguns, and there's so many different disciplines when it comes to like shooting. So it's just like alcohol or like driving or like whatever sports are out there or whatever hobbies you have, the firearms community is like one major big umbrella, and just like alcohol, it's like you can be into beer, you can be into wine, you can be into whiskeys, and shooting's kind of the same thing. You can be into like hunting, precision rifle, shotgun, you can do handgun shooting. So we were really, really focused on the handgun shooting side of it, and it's it's a big learning curve. And I think what was addictive for us was to shoot handgun really well is just like any other sport or skill set. It's just so much learning to do it really well and like fast and proficient. And the goal was for us to go join like these competitions and shoot like competitively. And to shoot at that level, you just have to go in and practice a lot. So basically what I like equate that to is when you go to a shooting range in Calgary, an indoor range where it's just lanes, it's like the same as like a driving range for golf. You go out there, you practice like a swing or you practice a specific shot so that you can later on go and play a game of golf. And for us, like the competition side was the game of golf. So
that makes sense.
Is there like I guess there is in Calgary, they're like a shooting range like the golf course. You're going around and just shooting those things that pop up in a course. Is that right?
No, so like a lot of like basically you have to like the videos you saw like this. Everyone's seen this on YouTube, right? Like you see John Wick, Keanu Reeves running around that Terran Tactical's range, and he runs around and is like engaging all these targets. That's basically what we do, but with like paper targets, it's like timed and scored. And so you need a lot of like real estate, or you need a lot of room to do that. So a lot of these competitions are held in outdoor ranges around Calgary.
Yeah, it's like running around and shooting targets accuracy, and then also like you do a lot of like holster draws and shots, right? So it's like how fast can you get your gun out of the holster and shoot this target accurately. They're pretty crazy.
Yeah. So
we should go, man.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We're going on Friday.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
not today. Next week.
Yeah. Do I need my gun license?
No. So as long as you're like supervised by a PAL holder, which David
we all
is,
are.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
No,
down.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I
100%.
come?
Yeah,
of
go.
course.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, you're not allowed.
Just as long as you're really safe. I don't know how you're gonna be like holding a gun.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are gonna train
Oh, for
me,
sure.
guys.
Yeah.
for sure.
I'm not just gonna like.
Yeah, we're not
I
gonna
could-
just let you take it and go. I've trained a lot of people to shoot. So.
I've probably gone once to the shooting range, and
Yeah.
honestly,
He doesn't like it.
yeah, like I'm not a violent person,
Yeah,
so like I feel like I get that adrenaline,
Yeah.
but I don't know. It's kind of like scary still to
Yeah.
me.
It's the skill set, though.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the common misconception within our industry. Like I think within the U.S. and like culturally, it's already like firearms and violence are kind of like this like direct like correlation for a lot of people, but it's not. Like in Canada, there's no like defend yourself with a gun. There's no concealed carry. There's no nothing. Like when you own a gun here, it's like for hunting or it's for recreation. Period. Nothing else. And like that's like a thing that people they'll always ask me. They're like, "Oh, like why can't you like protect yourself with your gun, or like why can't you carry your gun?" Or I'm like, "That's
It's
not
against
what."
the law.
Yeah, I'm like, "That's against the laws and regulations in Canada. Like, you can't do that." So here, when we shoot handgun, it's for sport. Period.
Yeah.
But
Like-
but you're not allowed to own a hand. You're like, you're not allowed to own a handgun at home and travel with it or something like. How does
If you have your restricted license, then you can travel with your gun, but only to the range. It can only go from your home to the range and from your range back. Like if you get caught with your handgun in your car and you're not going to the destination that you're supposed to be going, you'll get in shit.
Yeah, like there's really strict transport regulations.
Yeah.
And storage regulations.
Everything.
Yeah.
Like people like the police could come and check your guns if they see if they're properly like stored or whatever like that.
But you need a course, because I did a course but I didn't finish it.
Yeah, you
Like-
dropped out.
Yeah.
Like, freaking-
Oh my god, yo, man, that's like the easiest course.
Well, he went into it, and then like there was like 10 of us that took the license, right?
Yeah.
And it was like pretty chill. We were like with a bunch of friends, and I think you just did one day and you never came back.
Yeah, because I was like, this isn't like, because it was only for semi-automatic or something.
No,
Oh, like
it's
probably
just for
rifles or
restricted.
Yeah, so I
or
was-
non-restricted. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, I wanted a pistol. I was like, this. I feel like
But that's the 3-day course. You just add
Yeah.
one more day and it'll be done. But you need to
Yeah.
have the restricted or non-restricted first.
I might have to go redo or actually do the course.
Yeah.
Because it was funny during COVID when it first happened.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, I need a gun.
So like that's like like all of my non-PAL holding friends,
Yeah.
like PAL's like the possession acquisition license, like the license you need to own a firearm. All of like my like non-gun friends were all like we're like do you have guns? Like,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
have, I'm like, do you have to get a license? Like, and it's not for what you think you're supposed to use that for. So
Your business probably skyrocketed though during that time.
you know what? I think I was thinking. I think I was talking to David about this, but the industry's weird for us. So there's all these ebbs and flows. Overall, our industry grew. However, for us, because we're so niche and we're so specific, during the initial portion of COVID, our business for sure took a dip because our services are for the recreational shooters. Just that, it's recreation. It's not a necessity. So we don't sell ammo. We don't sell a lot of things that like preppers or whatever would like want to buy, like magazine, ammo, all the
Rations.
all the consumable stuff.
Why don't you guys sell that? Are you guys not allowed to?
No. It's just for our business model is like just very, very specific. We wanted to target a really specific segment of the market, and we wanted to do that very, very well. And that's it. So we didn't.
So it's just very customized guns, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, you know when you look at a gun on like Call of Duty and it's got like a gold skin or something
Yeah,
like
like
that?
that's, I'm looking at some of these.
You
right
could do
now.
that
Yeah,
on
yeah.
their guns. It's essentially like taking a like the stuff that you see in Call of Duty with like the customization guns and just putting it onto a real gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah,
Here.
it's pretty cool.
But you guys also sell guns,
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but just like, think about us like an exotic car dealership. We're not there like hawking like, Ford Tauruses.
Yeah.
Like there's already 1,000 car dealerships doing that. So for us, we targeted a market that we thought in Canada was not being represented well or, serviced properly. And we wanted to expand into that. So, for us, we just really, really focused on more of the firearms customization. And even if it was like the sale of firearms, it was more in line with like law enforcement, military type of firearms, and like what the recreation shooter or the competitive shooter would buy.
Yeah.
And like I said, we're not, for us, we didn't go with like the be everything to everyone model. We definitely went more specific. There's 1,000 gun stores like Cabela's. Like if you are everything to everyone, you're competing against Cabela's, you're competing against Bass Pro, and every other local gun store in the market. And that's a good model for them because that's how they survive. But for us, we were trying to do something different.
Yeah, because like Cabela's is like the Walmart of guns.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like when I first came here, I like heard of all these guys like super excited that it was coming, but I was like, what the hell is this store?
And honestly, and it's exactly like Walmart in the sense that they have massive buying power in the U.S. They take that same buying power and apply it to the Canadian market. So if you're trying to compete against them, it's not possible. They're buying millions and millions of dollars worth of inventory all the time, whereas as a local gun store, you're kind of having to you have $1 million worth of inventory if you're lucky, and you're spreading that between multiple different product lines. So.
Yeah, because I actually heard it from you guys, from Peter Vu.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so he was telling me about it, and he's like, yeah, check out their stuff. It's pretty crazy. So then, like, during COVID, I spent, like, I don't know, like, probably a month looking at guns from your guys' shop. And just, like, scrolling through them, like, looking at the different designs, the colors and stuff like that. And I was, like, trying to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yep.
Because I was building a rifle during COVID as well, because I was just bored. But,
yeah, I remember, like, Dave, we might need to just come over if something crazy happens.
He's like, I'm coming to you if something happens and we go into this crazy shit with COVID, and because at least you have like arms. I was like, okay, sure. Like, I'm not gonna let you borrow it, but you can come and chill with me if you want.
Didn't you load up on ammo too?
Yeah. Oh yeah, everybody was.
Yeah.
Like, so I was talking to Calgary Shooting Center, and they told me in 2 days they sold $100,000 worth of inventory.
Yep. Oh,
like,
for sure.
Like shit was selling out, like all their ammo, all their defensive guns, their rifles, their handguns, everything. Like everything was just going off the shelves because people were like panic buying essentially.
Yeah. And it was there's COVID, there was like riots in the US, there was a change, there's an election coming up, and it sounds crazy, but those are major events that change the buying trends in the US. So all the consumables in the U.S., which if there is no inventory in the U.S., that's where all of our product comes from. Guess what? There's going to be shortages up here too.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was a massive spike in purchasing in the U.S.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's a lot of supply chain from down there, and
almost all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were getting to you starting.
Yeah.
we went far left lane there.
No, that's all good. Yeah.
So you.
It's like a normal day for me. This is what my life is every day. So.
It was you, Vince, and Ringo. There we go. That's where we left off. And you guys were going to the shooting ranges together a lot. And then I guess what sparked Black Box Customs? Like, how did it evolve? How did it grow? Like, is it you three? Yeah, tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so when it first started, it was basically Vince, Ringo, and I, for the most part. We were all either in school or working full-time jobs, so this was like a total like hobby side hustle.
Can you give us like an age time for like how old are you now and like how?
Sorry,
yeah,
no, it's okay.
Yeah, no, what the fuck was that? No, that was in 2014, so I don't even remember how old I was. I think I was like 25 or something.
So
I'm 32 now.
Okay,
so,
you're 32. Okay.
Yeah.
And so 25 is when it started. Yeah, 7 years
yeah,
ago.
Roughly. Yeah. So what happened was we were getting into shooting, and of course, any hobby that you dive deep into, whether it's cars, golfing, anything that has like badminton, you want to buy like the nicest tech, the latest and greatest equipment.
Yeah.
And with guns, it's like you can buy, the latest, greatest, but there's also a massive like customization community out there. And we were just nerding out. We were doing all this research from the US, and we just could not find people to do or perform those services in Canada. So
like no one.
Okay, so what it was is like, it's not no one. What it was like, we wanted like an optic cut, for example. Then you'd have to like reach out to the one shop that offered that in.
You got to explain what an optica is.
Oh no.
Optic cut.
Yeah, optic cut. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just imagine it's like we're putting retrofitting a red dot onto a handgun. I know this is like a
Okay, that makes-
segue.
yeah,
but-
So on the top of the gun, you're essentially adding this groove where you can like add like a not a scope, but it's like
it's like a miniature,
It's like the red dot
sight,
on.
on the top of a gun.
If you play Call of Duty,
Exactly,
you know
yeah,
all
yeah.
about
Yeah,
it.
it's like a holographic
the EOTech,
sight.
but
CS,
like a
Counter-Strike, yeah,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
The
a miniature,
crossfire.
yeah. But a miniature one that is mounted and installed.
Like a laser.
Yeah, because like
Almost, but like
Yeah.
only you can see it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
through the.
Yeah,
through the-
so
through
like
the
if you
lens.
look at a normal gun, it has iron sights where you match the like the front sight to the two back ones, and when you align it, that's centered. But when you have the holographic, it's like a little like screen inside of on top of your gun.
Got it. Kev.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I know 95% of the people
Yeah.
don't know what that is, right?
Yeah, this thing here.
Oh, that thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
on top of it.
Oh.
Oh, don't worry, we'll get into
Yeah,
that later.
yeah.
But yeah, so there's like kind of all these different services that we were looking for that either increased or had better like created better ergonomics for the pistol or had some like type of performance like advantage. And imagine it was like frame texturing so that you could get a better grip on the gun, like a better sighting system for the handgun, and front cocking serrations so that you had more grip on the slide so you can manipulate it better, stuff like that. And between all these different services, there's probably 4 different shops that we needed to go to, and they were kind of scattered across the country.
Basically, for each item you wanted, it wasn't an all-stop one shop.
Right,
Got it.
exactly. And firearms are so regulated in Canada that to go ship your firearm to, say, one of these shops, you have to call the RCMP. You have to get an authorization to transport the firearm to the post office, then ship it to them. And this is like, so imagine that times like 4.
Yeah.
And you have to ship
Is that what you
your
got to do now, though, too?
They just ship it to them.
Yeah,
because they do it
so-
all.
But the system hasn't changed, right?
No, it's actually more strict now, actually.
Okay.
So it's even worse now. So we just, we're not really into, and a lot of these people weren't doing the stuff that we wanted. And some services nobody even offered. You had to find like Bob's uncle that owned a machine shop and only worked like on, Tuesdays from 6 to 9 and only takes payment in beers on a blue moon. It was just crazy. It was just getting too crazy. So
basically, you found something that people needed, and then
like we were just trying to look for it for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we bought the equipment to do it. So then we're like, you know what, fuck this. Like, this is too much of a pain in the ass. And like, and half the people we emailed like barely got back to us. The service was like just like not good. And then some people just like straight up refused work that we were asking for because they're like, oh, we're too busy with our own stuff, so we don't know when we can get to yours. And I was like, okay, you know what, like this is ridiculous. So we did all the research as to like what would be needed to do some of these services. And one was like a soldering iron to do the frame texturing on the pistols, because we just like literally sit there for 4 hours melting, like putting little like divots in the frame, and that's like stippling, and that's frame texturing on these pistols. So we're like, you know what, we'll just buy a soldering iron and we'll just do it. And then the other one was buying a manual mill, so like a milling machine to do like serrations on the slides and do these optic cuts on the slide and stuff like that.
What's a slide?
So
It's a slide.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
okay.
on a
You need to
handgun,
explain these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah,
People
yeah,
don't like,
Yeah,
like.
the
yeah.
sli-
So on
Yeah,
a
yeah.
handgun, there's like
Yeah.
a frame, which is like the part that you hold,
Yeah.
and the part that like cycles and reciprocates, that's the slide.
Okay, like the.
Yeah, the
like
part
when
that
you
you
chamber,
cock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
when you chamber the bullet and
Yeah.
it slides back.
You
got
cock
it.
the slide.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's like a machine for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like you can buy it for like $800 at your local Busy Bee store or whatever.
Okay.
So you guys are milling your own guns.
Yeah, and then so you know what, we like bought a soldering iron. I soldered my like first handgun. It took me like fucking like 3 days, and it was horrible. It was like terrible looking, but it looked good at the time. And then we cut like these serrations into the slides. And we're like, okay, well, we need to refinish these serrations or else they're going to rust. Because once you cut them, they're like raw. and you can't. There's like potential of rust. So the coating, the finish, the refinishing that is like popular in that market was this product called Cerakote.
Yeah.
And they had like these starter kits for like people in their garages. And it was like, I can't remember how much it was. I think it was like $120. It comes with like a gun and like 6 sample colors or something. And 6 sample colors for us was like enough to like spray like 20 slides or something. So we bought, this starter kit. And then we looked at all the things that we needed. We needed a oven. We needed a sandblaster. We needed to get acetone to like degrease these parts. So we took like Vince's toaster oven and like turned it on its side. And we like that was like our oven.
Oh, because to put it into
to
So
bake it.
so after you spray Cerakote, you have to bake it.
Oh.
To cure. And all these people were kind of like retrofitting like their ovens and stuff. Like I wasn't gonna like use my parents' oven to like bake these things. I don't know, like what the chemicals or off gassing of whatever is. So I was like, yeah, let's just find an oven or something. So there's just like a lot of jerry rigging when we first started. So you know what, we did some stippling, we did some serrations, we did some Cerakote, and it was like done. It was like,
Clean.
At this point, were you guys like?
this is a hobby.
Oh, this is a hobby.
No business.
So not black box
No,
custom.
nothing. This was just like Vince and Jay and Ringo in their,
In their
garage.
garage.
Just for fun, just for your own stuff.
In their basement.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, we didn't have a business license. We didn't have insurance. We didn't have a firearms business license. We didn't have anything.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And we just went to the competitions and we started shooting. Like we were starting to be a little bit more recognized in that community because we were becoming more and more competitive. And then when you become more competitive, everyone starts looking at your gear.
Yeah.
Like they're looking in the wrong place generally.
You guys are
But-
selling yourself
yeah.
at the competitions.
Right. So they'd be like, oh, whoa, like, where'd you get that stippling? Oh, where'd you get that Cerakote work done? Or where'd you get this done? And we're like, oh, like, we did it ourselves. And they'd be like, oh, like, what do you charge for that? And we're like, oh, like, we don't, like, it's not a business. Like, it's just for ourselves, like, for our friends and whatever. And it just took a lot of actually what ended up happening. We went to our local range, and one of the sales managers there, they saw our work. We're pretty close friends with them. And they like were really pressuring us to start offering this service for their customers.
Shit.
And at first we were like, no thanks, like I don't have time. Like
I have a full-time
yeah,
job.
yeah, right. Like
This took me 3 days to get this stippling done.
I'm like, I have a job, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
And every single time we go out, they keep on pressuring us to do it. And then eventually we caved. We were like, okay, you know what? We'll look into getting a firearms business license, getting insured, doing all this stuff properly. And yeah, like that's like how it started is we did a couple guns for them.
That's crazy.
And that was 7 years ago.
Yes. Yeah. That was like the genesis. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Of Black Box.
And how did you guys, I guess, like, were you guys all like, hey, we're all in this together, or how did you guys establish your guys' roles, like, and want to?
It was like way too early for that.
Yeah.
It was just like imagine just like 3 monkeys in a garage,
Yeah.
and just like everyone's doing everything, and eventually people fall into their roles.
Okay.
Yeah. At first, it was actually like shared, like it was like almost split custody of services between Vince's garage and mine. So like my garage was like the more dirty garage, so it was like we were doing all like the dirty work in there. So spraying the Cerakote, prepping the slides. I was doing stippling in my basement, but then all the milling work we do it in Vince's garage. So we were like driving these things across the city, and like we live in like opposite ends. So that's at the very beginning, everyone was doing everything. Literally, it was like split.
How did you guys get like sales and business? If you guys, was it all referral? Like, how did you guys actually?
Oh man, this is funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically in the firearms industry, imagine you teleported into like the 90s or like the early 2000s. Okay, shopping in the gun industry is like that. You got teleported into like the early 2000s, late 90s, and that's where you're at.
Yeah.
Websites suck. The customer service is just like horrible, and just access to information is just non-existent. So for us, when we first started the business, the number one priority was get a very, very, very good website up, put all the information that was relevant to our customers on there. And everyone in our industry is like very visual. So we just took as what we would consider very, very good photos of our product or our services, and just leverage our social media. And that was our strategy at first. We also we didn't have a brick and mortar store. We were operating in our garages. So we partnered up with different gun ranges and had them be like our dealers. So we do like pre-configured pistols for them using their inventory. So they'd have like a Glock that wasn't really selling, or they had like a total overstock of like this specific pistol. We would then turn that one SKU into like 5. Right? You take that one Glock and now it's in 5 different colors with different slide cuts. Now you've expanded their inventory without, right? So that's kind of how we started, was just using their inventory, using their sales staff to help promote us locally. And then online, we were leveraging all the free social media, which was Instagram, Facebook, a good website, and there's like some forums that are pretty good, but we weren't really using the forums. What we would do was kind of more like guerrilla marketing. we would use like private accounts and like sell black box customized pistols, like secondhand, right? So we were kind of leveraging that for a little bit until we couldn't do that anymore, until like kind of the mods caught on, and then we had to start paying for advertising. So
That's so funny.
yeah.
So you guys actually started like marketing with the local people, and then I guess did you guys how did you guys establish the name Black Box Customs and then like start branding it?
So you know what, I think it's not. I've gone through a lot of different with my previous work, which is not anything special, and kind of some previous hobbies. I've gone through the naming a business. I've worked for different businesses, so I've kind of seen where certain business names can pigeonhole you into like specific work that you were trying to do at that time. However, later on you might outgrow it, and that name may no longer be relevant, and rebranding is way harder at that time. So in Canada, the firearms industry is still kind of taboo. You don't really talk too much about it. We wanted a name that wasn't like, if I sold you guys merchandise, like a t-shirt, I didn't want it to say Bob's Gun Store, I own guns, follow me home, rob me, you know? So, you know, it wasn't like that. We wanted something that was just, if you knew, you knew, is nondescript. And
because if you have guns in the name, there could be a negative connotation to it, right?
For sure. Yeah. And imagine, you know,
like customized guns ready to go, you know?
Right. So for example, like we mail stuff to our customers all the time across the country. Imagine a box on the side of it that says Bob's Gun Store. Like, think about how much Amazon parcels get stolen or whatever, right? Off the doorsteps. You know, now that's just like a problem waiting to happen. So we wanted something that was just very nondescript. If someone wanted to like rep our branding, or like we gave someone a sticker, they could put it on their vehicle, and it wouldn't mean anything to the average person, right? Unless you knew. So we also were looking at a bunch of different names. We didn't want anything too cliche, so no, like, I don't know. You know how it is. Like, like
it takes a while to come up with it.
So in our industry, it's like Triarch operator, like training solutions or whatever. Like, it's just like a lot of like these buzz words, and it's just always like this mixture. David's into cars, so you know all the different car shop names. It's always like something auto salon, import, you know, like whatever, right? So we didn't want anything too cliche like that, and we went through a bunch of different names. One of them was like, I think the top contenders were like the Tradecraft, and Black Box Customs was something that I was toying around for a little while.
What is Black Box? Yeah. I guess. So, that's what you're elaborating.
Right, So the reason why we named it that was, I think with firearms, or like all these things that we're trying to do, we always wanted to create a experience. So like, you guys have been, David's been to the store now, and we're trying to create like this more hands-on, more like bespoke gun building experience. And if you're a customer from out of town, or if we're shipping stuff to you, you don't get that same experience. So what's the next best thing is, like the box opening experiences, right? That you see everyone so hot for online, right? Like that's why Apple products are so,
the packaging.
Right, exactly. It has like that perfect fit. We're not that crazy. So the original concept was when you received your project back, it would be in this nice black box, and it's like kind of like this experience to like you sent it to us. It was basically this bone stock thing. You get it back and have all this customizations. Let's celebrate that through kind of like this box opening experience.
A black box.
Yes. So all the parcels of custom guns that we build for customers right now are like these super neatly wrapped black craft paper boxes now. And when you get like a parcel from us in the mail.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
I want to get that.
Yeah, that's actually like... So you guys were thinking way ahead, and I want to point out the marketing and the forward thinking of that before you even chose your brand.
Yeah.
So you knew what you wanted to deliver.
Yes.
Before the name.
Yes. I think
so. You thought about all of this before.
Yeah, like we sat. Oh man, like Vince and Ringo, if they were here, like there's endless nights of like Denny's. Every single time we went to the range, we would be at Denny's till like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, talking about these ideas, right? And just kind of like building up that experience. In the perfect world, in the future, what is Black Box in the future? And so we always kind of had these ideas, and I think in the end, like with the naming and stuff like that, we always knew we wanted to create an experience for our customers, because that's non-existent. Guns are a luxury, like for us, like the market that we are trying to target. Well, yeah, the recreational shooters, it's a luxury. We service law enforcement, military, which came later, but the initial target market was just recreational shooters. And like I said, it's a luxury. You go, like if you were to go buy, a new like luxury timepiece, you don't want the McDonald's experience. You don't want to order over the phone, go pick up mobile or whatever. You want to go in, you want to be shown around, you want to have that experience. You want to sit down, you want to build it. It's bespoke, right? There's more to the purchase than just coming in and looking at what you want and spending money.
Yeah, you need that. Oh, sorry. Go.
That's what I felt when I went there.
Yeah.
Like it was such an interesting concept because you got to be buzzed in.
Yes.
You can't just walk into it. And then you go and it's like this pretty sick showroom. Like it has really good displays, like the cases of the parts, merch, all that stuff. And then you guys have your offices in the back. And then upstairs is like your shipping and inventory. And then Jay actually took me through a tour of the whole thing and showed me like, hey, this is where every little thing gets done. It's actually a pretty crazy shop. Like the processing there, I was like, holy fuck. Like you guys have a lot of crazy equipment, just for like the CNC and like the millwork and all that stuff. The Cerac, like it's separated into 2 separate parts, which is like the millwork and then the Cerakoting on the other side. But it's actually like very interesting, and like everything is super secure too. Like you can't get anywhere without a fucking RFID card.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's different from where we were. Our first shop was just like a fucking shithole, pardon my French. But like it was but like we always knew we wanted to work towards that.
Yeah.
And even our shop right now is not where we want it to be, but we're always working towards it. Yeah. Yeah.
I think you need to have that I think like business now and everything is going into that experience. People want to experience something different, right? You can't just have a product.
Yep.
You need to add that experience to actually what makes you guys different from just like a product, right?
For sure. Oh man.
Yeah, we're
no, like no, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I tell my sales guys this all the time because the experience is one part, but like you also need to, it's one thing, like hospitality is one thing. Good, like customer service in the sense of like being polite is another. And the final piece is like, you kind of need to tie it all in. You do need to be the subject matter experts. You do need to be enthusiastic about your product, your brand, your whatever.
Passionate about it.
Oh, for sure. Right. You do. Or else you're just there, waving your hands, being excited, and you're being polite about it, but you're not really servicing the customer. Did you come in, with little to no knowledge and walk out with, a new understanding of what we do, right? I think that's ultimately what it comes down to is you can come in and you can be wowed by our showroom and we can be polite. We can, serve you, a drink or whatever, and it's good hospitality. But did you leave learning something that you didn't know from before, right? And did we actually help you solve, some of those problems, or did we just sell you whatever because you were so excited to spend money? No, like for me, it's like I'm more than happy if people come in, they get the full experience, and they walk out not spending $1 because they go home and they do the research, or they go home and now they are actually thinking about their next build, and then they come back and now they're more happy. I hate the buyer's remorse type of sale, right? You guys are in sales at the end of the day. Like, how it is. Like, it's sometimes it's really easy to take advantage of a customer when they're eager to spend. You do need to apply a little bit of that discipline of say, hey, you know what? Like, I could sell you this thing right now, and it might not be the perfect thing, but I know that it's an easy sale, and I could just, totally push you into it. Or you can say, hey, look, like, I know you're excited, but there are a couple other options, and I think it's worth exploring them, and I think you'll be more happy long term with those decisions.
If you know everything before you make the decision.
Right. Yeah. And then later on, I think you earn more of like a lifetime customer from doing that.
Of course, yeah.
Right? Because you're not taking advantage of them while they're in a vulnerable state. It sounds it sounds crazy, but people are. You get excited. You come into a showroom, you get wowed, and you get bamboozled. Let's buy, right?
It's important to build rapport and trust with your clients, right? And like, they're coming to you for guidance and knowledge on things because it might be not in their scope of knowledge. So if they're being sold something and then what happens is they get it and they're like, fuck, I have some buyer's remorse on this. They're going to feel that, and they're going to feel it towards the person that sold it to them, right?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And like the next time they come in, they're less trusting, right? And right now we ask our customers for a lot. We're asking them to come in and really respect our opinion on a specific, topic, which in this scenario, or often it's about like handguns. We didn't develop that, trust from our consumers by taking advantage of, people, right? So like I said, it's kind of always like this discipline piece. Like I always have to remind my sales guys, like, everyone's so eager to sell because they want to do good, right? Like, but sometimes it's okay. If we don't sell today, we'll sell it tomorrow. Or, I have customers that, I talk to them and I don't see them for 3 years. Like, if we're planning to be in business for, the end game or the long term, a sale 3 years from now is just as important to me as a sales today. Really.
That's exactly like our industry, right?
Yeah.
Buying a house, you don't talk to them for.
It can be 6 months, 2 years.
But after the sale, a lot of agents don't talk to them after, right?
Yep.
And I think a lot of people appreciate us. Like, we just dropped off like over 100 pumpkins. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
I was wondering what that was about.
Yeah.
Tell me the pumpkin story.
We were doing, so every Halloween we drop off pumpkins to our clients for kids, and we have like an invite thing, right? Because how we want to do our business is that it's not just a transactional business, it's relational. And even after the deal is done, the service continues regardless. So, and what that does is it keeps you top of mind in the business, so that if there ever was, like, if they ever think of some real estate again, you're the first one to talk to. Because in our industry, there's over 6,000 realtors, right? Yeah. Like, how many custom gun furniture?
So okay, that's super funny because like you guys are, when we first started, when we talked about marketing, right? A lot of people are trying to target, you know, businesses like yours where you're in a local space and you're competing with, you know, 6,000 other people. So your analytics, your SEO, all that stuff has to be at the tip of the spear, or else, you know, you're on page 3 on Google or whatever, right? For us, it's like we didn't have any competitors.
That's awesome.
in Canada.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like,
Do you guys have competition now, you would say? Or
Yeah, so like over the last 7 years, for sure, there are businesses that have sprung up. They'll segue doing other things, or they'll come and go. And I think there's no magic in what we do. Like, it's just like hard work, dedication, and attention to detail. So I welcome like anyone that wants to step into our space, because they'll have to do what we did. And if you're willing to do what we did, you deserve to be in the space. It's not easy. And I think a lot of people underestimate what is behind the doors, because I think people just look at, you know, the services that we offer as just like these really quick, oh, can't you just sketch it on here and then run it there? No, it's like, this is people's property. We're not, you know, we're taking a lot of customer work in and doing the modifications. Not, you know, it's not just a block of metal and we're cutting it. If we mess it up, no problem, we throw it out. Like, we have one shot and we mess it up, we owe the customer a new gun, or worse.
Yeah.
does that happen?
Yeah. Does that? Because I guess like if you do mess up,
It's hard to go back.
yeah.
Like, there's some like
Is there like insurance on that
Yeah,
to cover
there's-
you guys, or like?
yeah, like we're self-insured for that.
Yeah.
Like we mess up a person's firearm, we replace it generally. But it depends on like what end up happening. Often a lot of the mistakes that we make, well, step one, you try not to make mistakes, but it's happened. You know, like you're human. We process like thousands of firearms a year right now, so it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just depends. There's really only a couple of services that we perform that will potentially do like irreversible damage. So running stuff on the CNC, you know, you hit go and that thing is automated. You have to trust that the program that you wrote for that is flawless. So
CNC.
oh, that's like basically a computerized like milling machine is a short. Like, so we used to do like. We used to mill.
A machine that does something that you input the information
Right.
and it does it for
Right,
you. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, like I was telling you before, we were doing manual milling before. So you'd like spin. It was like, just think about like a.
It's like a drill almost.
Yeah,
but,
almost, but like super precise.
Yeah.
More like pretty
It
precise.
cuts like very clean.
Yeah. So we would basically etch a sketch our cuts like manually.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Is the best way to describe it. So, you know, like, you know, on an etch-a-sketch, to draw a diagonal line, you have to move both dials.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us,
So
like,
you guys were doing that
you kind of
man-
have to. Yeah. We were doing that manually.
Yeah.
And then if you tell a computer to do it,
more precise.
they can
Yeah.
draw whatever shape you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically. So. That's how, you know, over time we upgraded all of our equipment. We went from manual to a lot of computerized stuff, and went from computerized stuff to like nicer computerized stuff.
Yeah. Because you guys have drafters, right? That you guys use.
So yeah, we had CAD cam guys. So we have guys that will take a customer's project, they'll model the entire slide, and then after that we'll model the cuts that we want. Then they'll convert those cuts into language that our machines can understand, and then they'll do test cuts on like blocks of scrap metal, and then we'll then perform the cut on the customer's project. And depending on the project, you know, the pricing varies. Sometimes if it's a super popular type of service, we'll amortize the initial cost over like 10 projects basically. So we don't charge our customers upfront like for 10 hours worth of work. We charge them for like an hour's worth of work.
That's smart.
Because the idea is that pistol is popular enough and that service is popular enough that we can, you know, keep on selling that, you know, for years. Right.
That's pretty smart. So how many employees are you guys at right now?
Oh geez, I think we're at like 15 full-time employees, including
Wow.
including the partners, shareholders.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, it's a pretty busy shop.
Yeah, right. Yes, yeah. It's very labor intensive. So like that's why I say to roll it back is why I welcome competitors, because it's labor. It's pure labor, and it's attention to detail. And if you want, like, we've been stippling frames by hand for the last 7 years. Ringo does it almost exclusively now. He's one of the shareholders. He's one of the founders. He sits there for 3.5, 4 hours pressing a soldering iron into a frame because we can't trust
By hand?
Yeah, by hand. Because we can't trust like other people to have that same level of attention detail. So by all means, like, if you want to start stippling frames, I welcome you to do it because
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Like, I was looking at it, I'm like, holy shit, like it's pretty much like drawing on it, like with a hot soldering gun and melting the plastic to create that form and have like a better grip on the gun.
Right, exactly.
Tell us about the growth over the 7 years, because like 15 employees is a lot, and even 3 employees is a lot. 1 employee is a lot, right? People that aren't in business don't really understand how much work just to even run 53. We're even
We're
for
at,
us,
like 6 associates.
Yeah.
So yeah, like what made you decide to start scaling up and covering these roles?
Right. So I don't know if you guys run into the same issue. Is I think when you first start the business yourself, or when you're doing the work yourself, is you hit plateaus, right? There are limits as to how many hours a day you can work, right?
Yeah.
And if you want to expand the business and you want to scale it, you have to bring employees on. But there's always that that catch-22 is it costs you money
Yeah.
to bring more people in, right?
How many more years were you in before you realized that?
So we were probably working flat out for the first holy cow, how many years was it? Probably 2 years. So we were in our garages for 1.5 years, then we moved into a legitimate shop, and we were probably in that shop for probably 1.5 years before we hired our first employee.
And initially it was just you 3.
Basically, yeah. In short, it was basically us 3.
And were you guys? Did you guys eventually quit your jobs?
So yeah, when we moved into our shop, when we were in our garages, we hit that plateau. It was no longer a hobby. It was taking up every waking hour of our lives outside of work and school.
You're working, then working.
It was your side hustle.
We were literally burning the candle on both ends.
Yeah.
And it like cost me like my relationship with my ex at that time. Like, it was just like everything. So
Casualties of war.
oh, for sure,
I've been there.
Yes, 100%.
So all 3 of you were working too, and then you guys.
Yes, yeah.
Your
So then,
after hours.
right. So it was getting busy, and you had to make the choice. Like, do you want to just cap it and say, Black Box Customs is now the shop that only works on 20 pistols a year and that's it forever? Or is Black Box Customs going to take this momentum and roll? Or are we going to, squash it out? And we decided to just grow it, ride the momentum. So we shopped for space. We got space. We moved in. We got better equipment. And
How was that conversation with you 3 though? You guys just all agreed like, hey, we're quitting our jobs and we're committed now. Like how did that?
What was
how
the vision
yeah.
like?
I think it was I think we were all just so we were starting to get burnt out for sure, and we knew that we needed to do something, and I think all of us at that point in time were probably too young and stupid to to know anything better. So we saw opportunity and we rode it. Yeah. So we just said, let's do it. Like, let's see where it goes. The risk was not too high for us. We were just kids back then. So we just did it.
That's good though.
Yeah. So after you guys agreed, and then you guys got a space, like a commercial space, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And then that's when things started really picking up, or what?
So it always grew pretty steady and organically, and the speed limit was always just manpower. So just keep in mind, we were super, super anal about our image and how we wanted to present ourselves and the work that we did. So and what I mean by that is like we took all of our own photography, we built our website, we managed our social media, we did all the work ourselves. We didn't outsource anything. And I mean, like, it doesn't matter what aspect of our company it was, we didn't outsource it.
How did you guys agree to who did what?
Yeah, there's a lot of skills to get that done.
Yeah.
Right. I think there was always, I don't know, it was kind of like, oh man, at the very beginning, it was everyone was doing everything. It was very shared. And then over time, everyone develops a stronger interest for a certain thing. So I think that's ultimately what it came down to, is not all 3 people needed to build the website. Not all 3 people needed to take pictures. But every single one of us knew every single aspect of the business, so that if one person needed to take time away, or if somebody was busy, or if someone needed a hand, anyone could actually have stepped in and helped out. That was super useful. Everyone was like the jack of all trades.
I feel like that's what we
had to
did.
do that too,
right?
Because like if we were gone or something was like sick or something like that, like you could take over that role with it being like not like the service is not like it doesn't go down, you know?
Right. Yeah.
The
There's
quality
no
of
interruption,
service
right?
doesn't go down.
Yeah. Exactly. It needs to be seamless.
Yeah.
So over time, as we grew bigger and bigger and bigger, there was way more like delegation, and there was way more specific tasks, but that wasn't till way later, I think. But yeah, everyone just kind of played into their strengths once it started getting busier, because everyone needed dedicated roles.
Yeah. It's good to focus on the things that you actually enjoy doing, because if you're doing all the tasks that you don't enjoy, it makes it kind of...
That's tough. Okay, so there's a couple partners. Like Vince is one of the co-founders. Like, he has like taken one for the team in a sense. Like, he does a lot of like the, for lack of a better term, bitch work, like admin. It's like, so you know, I like, that's where I think you know, having multiple business owners doing stuff at the same time is good, because there's a lot of shared work, and because you're invested, there's, you know, there's some work that isn't super glamorous, but you still have to do, and you're willing to do it because you don't want to hire out because it might cost too much money. So anyways, big props to my boy Vince.
How do you figure out when is a good time to hire out? With people in business, I find even for us, we struggle with this, and growing businesses. When did you guys be like, okay, yeah, guys, we need to hire out because the cost to hire out is more, you know, greater than...
For us, it's always opportunity costs.
Yeah.
You'll reach a point where people are banging on your door and you cannot service them.
Yeah.
And at that moment, you realize it's time to bring on another person.
Yeah.
And for us, it's almost always like that. Or someone that is better suited to do something else is doing something that they're not supposed to, just for the sake of saving the company money. The classic, like, you know, working on the business versus in the business.
Yeah.
Like, we spent so much time working in the business that we didn't have enough time growing it. And to the point where you start noticing opportunities that you miss, or different areas that you could grow into, but you could never take advantage of because of it. And those are always not super apparent right away. Sometimes it is, like, we can get ahead of it.
Sometimes you don't even notice it though, right? Because like after we had a new agent come in, and then we were giving them leads, we realized how much business we lost too.
Because we were at capacity. Right.
Yeah, you don't know what you're turning away.
Yeah.
And then like you could have been servicing, but you're so busy on your own shit. It's like someone else could have been handling this, and we could have like serviced that person and also made some money, and the new person can also make some money as well too from it. So it's like, you don't know how much money you're leaving on the table until you're actually like looking back and be like, fuck.
Right, exactly. Yes, 100%. And some of those ones where we like cooked the grenade for too long, and some of them we, you know, caught it early. And I think it's always, unless you're really, I guess, like sensitive to it, or you're really looking at it, it's hard to catch. Yeah. But
it is hard to catch, and it's like exactly, because like when you're so in the business, you're just so focused on
Yeah.
the business, right?
Yeah.
You don't even realize like everything that's happening out there,
Right.
where it's like, hey, I want to buy a house,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah. I'm working on this, and then
And you
like
just totally forget about them.
totally
That happened to me a few times because it's like you get so busy and then you're so in the zone with this
Yeah.
one, like a different client,
Yeah.
and then you're forgetting about this person that just
Yes.
like maybe sent you a message, right?
Yes.
Because like I probably get like 50 messages
Yeah.
a day. Like I'm in 50 conversations at a time,
Yeah.
right? So it's like it's hard to keep that cycle.
Yep.
But like the thing is that if you could pass it off and someone can deal with it and they're getting that service and they're satisfied,
Yep.
that like it doesn't take anything away from you, right?
Right.
Because that's business you probably would never had anyways.
Well, and I think a big chunk of that too is when it's your business, relinquishing those like responsibilities is probably the toughest thing
Yeah.
because everyone thinks that they're like the best person to service that customer.
Yup.
You guys know.
That's this guy right here.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've learned a lot though. I was
In the
such a
last 2
control
years.
freak. Like holy
Yeah.
crap! I was like, it needs to be done this way, this way, this way.
Jason would be like, "Hey, go do this task," and be
Yeah.
like, 10 minutes later, never mind, I'm gonna do it. Like,
You know what? There's validity in it, right? Like there's a minimum standard, and as long as you realize what that minimum standard is, you kind of have to let your employees or whoever's taking over that role have a little bit of freedom, as long as there's a minimum standard. I think that's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to set the bar with yourself
Yep.
and for the team, right? Because if you don't set that bar of what your expectations are, then that won't trickle down, right?
Right.
And I just feel like it's as your business grows, you have to reinforce that a lot.
Yep.
Like this is how we do business.
Yep.
We have a standard, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, and I don't think that's a bad thing.
yeah, no, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
because look at the businesses that grow too big too fast, and they're no longer, I guess, businesses that you can like associate with or whatever, or you can. You lose that original quality, and then it's no longer. That might have been.
I've had that happen.
Right.
I've had that happen with the company before. That
There
I
you
used
go.
to be in, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You grew too fast.
Yep.
Quality goes down,
yep.
and
you start losing clients.
and
Right.
it's like when you grow there. That is a problem when you grow too fast and you can't adapt to manage that.
Yes.
And when you can't adapt to manage it, that's definitely when the service
Yeah.
goes down, and that's where you don't want to be, right?
You start losing clients,
Right.
and then you kind of get a bad rep and
Yeah.
stuff.
So that's why I say it's not like ultra. It's not like super bad in the sense that like you're a control freak, because ultimately, what does that mean? It means that you actually care a lot about your customer's experience,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
So just if you just let that ship sail and you just let this person that's not necessarily invested in your business outside of a paycheck potentially take over that position.
Yeah.
Well, do you really want them being the face of your company? So you always do need to go back and do those checks and balances, or else like service is. We're in the service industry.
It could go anywhere, like
Yeah.
completely opposite with what you want.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
And like in a business, it's tough to survive if you're not adapting and also giving what your clients need, right?
Right.
Because like I was telling you before, like the success rate of a new business is only like a 8% chance in
Yeah.
the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And then after the next 5 years, it's another 8% chance of success.
Yeah.
So it's pretty low for a fucking new business.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I think a lot of our new employees also they weren't there for the hardships, which is good, right? But it's also bad because they don't know the amount of backbreaking you had to do, right?
That's funny.
Like talking to you guys like briefly, I can tell that you guys are the type to also, go out of your way for your consumers probably in the past or for your customers in the past. And that's what we did. I remember I was delivering stuff at like 2 a.m. for a customer because he needed it, or like, doing all these extra things in the past. And if our new employees don't understand that, and that's kind of like the level that we were, providing, or the level of customer service we were providing before, and we're trying to maintain that. It can be lost.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because that's kind of how we felt. Because we've been there from the beginning of the struggle. Like we got into
Right.
it. We joined up when it was like a tough market, but then now we have like our team. Like
Yeah.
they've seen like just the good stuff.
Right.
Then they never had to deal with the suffering.
You're like, you haven't struggled yet. Just wait.
Oh, for sure.
Just wait for it, guys.
Capitalize on this right now
Yeah.
and just hold it until like the market dips, because you have no control over that.
Oh,
When
for
your-
sure.
When your clients stop calling you, like this is what you need to do.
Oh, for sure. Like just like controlling waste at our shop. Like back in the day, we like break one tool. It was like that was like our week's worth of profit or something. Now we break a tool like once a week, and some of the guys don't bat an eye. I'm like back in the day, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
But it allows them to do more work and be more efficient. So it's kind of
You can't micromanage.
oh, for sure, yeah. But you kind of like, oh man, I wish you kind of cared more about that. It's
Yeah.
like,
But it's tough when it's not their business.
yeah, it's like, oh man, we used to use this like shitty toaster oven. Now you have like these nice like
Professional.
laboratory grade ovens, and they're just treating them like shit. I was like, oh man.
Do you guys still have that toaster oven? You
We
guys should
do,
keep
yeah.
it.
It's a yeah,
Frame it, man.
Just put it on the top of the shop. Just like
yeah.
the
No,
holy grail of
it's-
ovens.
It's in the shop. It'll go in the Black Box Museum if we survive long enough.
I look back at our business and like how we used to do business to what now. Like we put in the work to make it easier now, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's what people don't see when we're like, hey, do all this stuff. They're like, okay, but it's like, think about how much things we had to learn just to get it to that point for
Right.
you to learn, right?
Right,
So,
right.
Yeah. What was your guys' like biggest lesson mistake with? If you can share that.
Oh,
or not.
geez. Our biggest lessons and mistakes. It's tough. We learn from all of them. There's always constant lessons. Like none of us went to school for this, so we kind of just fumbled our way through this entire process, right?
There's no school for entrepreneurship.
Right.
There's
Right.
school
So,
is
It's real life.
Yeah, it's real life. Yeah.
experience.
yeah.
You can't go to school for it because it's so. You just can't, right?
Yeah.
It just,
And I don't know. It sounds like a cop out, but I think we learned a lot from everything that we end up doing, right? And you can't have the growth that we have without those mistakes. And for me, I don't regret any of it. Like you have to have one to have the growth, right?
any that comes in your mind, like last 2 years, last 3 years?
Just overextending ourselves, I think. Yeah, I think that was a really big one. Not diversifying as much as we should have early on.
Like diversifying into other products?
Different markets and different products, tapping into different markets. So, for example, there's a really big firearms accessory market overseas, like in Asia right now. And then there's a really big market in the US that we should be pushing into that we didn't take on until a lot later.
So you guys are pretty much all over the world now? Or?
So we sell products into the US right now, some accessories, mostly like for law enforcement. But that's like about it right now. We are working on a suite of products that we will push into the US, but that's something that I wish we would have done sooner. But at the same time,
You don't know what you don't know.
you don't, and like you just you're working on other things, right? And you're trying to grow the business to what you think makes sense at the time, and there's always stuff to work on. So, yeah, hindsight being 2020, just I don't know. I don't think too much. I don't dwell in that. We just move forward.
So I guess what advice can you give then to someone that is growing a business or wanting to get into your business or
Or trying to get into business in general. Oh, geez, it's not for everyone.
It's true.
If you are a person that easily loses sleep at night, I think this is not starting your own business is not the right thing to do. I don't think. I know a lot of people love to promote like self starters or businesses and entrepreneurship. It's like this really, I don't know. I think a lot of people glamorize it. For me, I think it's a lot of hard work and there's a lot of sacrifice. And unless you know what you're getting into, don't do it.
Yeah, it's like hard work like a commitment to it and also passion, because like if you're not passionate about it,
Yeah.
you're not gonna wake up every day
Yeah.
being enthusiastic
Yeah.
to do this shit every day, because
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like a job if you're not passionate
Yeah.
about it, right?
And,
So,
and even passion alone can only take you so far.
Yeah.
Like this will test like every ounce of your passion for this thing. You will learn whether or not you actually like it, and you will most likely along the way have to find new passion for it. It's like a marriage or whatever, right? Like
it's a partnership.
it is, yeah, 100%. And so I would say that, yeah, there are things that I'm not saying that Black Box was not good for me. It's probably the best thing that has ever happened to me in my life. I've met a lot of very good people. I've had amazing experiences, and I would not trade it for anything. However, coming at this with the lens of the rose-colored lenses or whatever, the rose-tinted lenses, I think is naive. You need to be prepared for like loss. You need to be prepared for sacrifice, and you need to be mindful of that. It's tough. We went into it like naively, right? And that's what
As a
got us
hobby.
there. And
Dude, that's how I went into all my businesses.
Yeah.
Very
Right.
naive, but that's what this is the whole point of the
Yeah.
podcast,
Yeah.
right? People just see the rainbows and
yes,
Unicorns.
yeah, right.
They see your website.
Yeah.
These guys are
Yeah.
doing good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they don't know
Yes.
what That's why, like 15 employees, like
That's a good feat.
Yeah.
like that is a lot of work. You
Yeah.
know, and people just see it. I was like, yeah, 15 employees. Yeah, like they're doing good. But it's like, yeah, you don't know.
Oh yeah, oh for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's funny. I was thinking about that the other day. A lot of my friends don't understand my struggle,
Yeah.
but at the same time, like they don't need to. My expectation of them understanding should not be where it was. Everyone has their own life and their own things, but man, it's ridiculous. I don't know how much like family events or like friend stuff that I've missed just because of work, right? And that's a real thing. And just know that those are the sacrifices you might want to make or might have to make if you want to continue to grow your business at the rate that it can grow, or sacrifice growth or sacrifice business, right? Like,
Yeah. It's like a balancing act.
100%, yeah. And sometimes it's like no balance. If you're trying to ride the wave of opportunity, sometimes there's no balance, unfortunately. Like we always want to achieve balance, but how many times have you guys probably caught yourselves,
Yeah.
right?
I felt that last couple of days. It's like, holy fuck. Like, I've been out like, for fucking like 10 hours straight. Like, it's like relentless.
Mel's like, you haven't been home for this whole week
Yeah.
at all for dinners. I was like, we'll do something tonight,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But no, like even like 100. Like I'm like, let's slow down.
Yep.
We need to regroup.
Mm-hmm.
We're just. I see this like thing happening where we're too busy.
Yep.
Which we are.
Yep.
And I'm like, we need to chill. Dave calls me the other day. He's like, yo, you want to do another Airbnb? I'm like, bro.
The opportunity is
yeah.
there.
I'm like,
But that's the nature of the beast,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the dichotomy. When you first started, you had no opportunities.
Yeah.
You had to constantly try, beg,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
to like build those things. And then now once you get,
it's coming.
Right.
You can't say no.
it's so hard. It's a drug,
Yeah.
right?
I think all I said was fuck.
Yeah.
Dave's like, we got to do it. I was like,
Well, because this client didn't want to Airbnb at first, and then he's like, "All right, let's try to Airbnb. This would be a good spot." So I convinced this client to let us Airbnb it. Then he's like, "Fuck, really?" I was like, "Dad, like, what do you want me to do?" Like,
right.
yeah, like I got them in, right? So, but we have like 3 coming up, and it's like it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And the worst part is like, even if you don't commit to the opportunity, you want to at least entertain it.
Yeah.
And that takes time.
It does.
Right? So I don't know. That's the nature of the beast, in my opinion. And that's, I think, the thing that people don't understand often is like, why are you creating all this, why are you creating all this chaos for yourself?
Yeah.
Well, it's like,
but
you don't control it.
It is a drug though.
It is,
It's
yeah.
addicting.
It's
Yeah, it's
weird.
fun.
It's
Yeah.
like you hate it.
It's a
But
love
you
hate
love
relationship. Yeah.
But that's because you work so hard to get there, right?
There's a great quote I want to share.
for sure.
It's like, I didn't get this far to only get this far, right? And
Yeah.
I like when I'm like, yeah, we didn't get this far just to get this far. We gotta keep
Right.
pushing the envelope, right? So,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I work off of like metaphors. People that know me, I just like live my life in metaphors because like that's how my brain works.
Stoic.
I like to just try to like make things like just scale things up or down. So I used to go a lot like hiking with my dad a lot. Like he's a crazy outdoor guy. And you know, I look at like these ventures like, you know, summiting a mountain, right? So you can go up halfway this mountain and the view is phenomenal and you can get caught, you know, just enjoying the view, taking it all in while there's still half a mountain to like continue to go up. And it's one of those scenarios for a lot of people where yeah, like the view might be good enough now, but did you actually go and like achieve your goal? Did you summit that mountain? And if you haven't, you actually have to stop what you're doing and continue that like that journey up, or else you'll just get caught there and then you'll run out of time. And a lot of what we do with Black Box is like, I don't think we knew what mountain we were trying to summit. We just got to like the bottom of the trail and we knew we wanted to start.
Yeah.
And then halfway up, we're like, okay, this is like K2. And we're like, okay, we're not prepared for this or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to make a decision. Do you keep on going or do you stop? Right. And there's, I don't think there's a bad to stopping, but you just have to know like how far you made it up. And if you turn back around, is there going to be regret? Will you be able to live with your decisions? Right. And that's like the business piece. Like,
And that's like something like how I live. Like I read this book, like The 5 Secrets You Must Discover Before You Die. And like they interview like 2,500 people that were like influential people in people's lives. And from that 2,500 people, they minimize it to 250. And like they ask them a bunch of questions and they all came up with these 5 different things, but they were the same things.
Right.
And the number one thing is living a life in regret. Right. So like a lot of these old people on their deathbed or like the big thing was like regretting the things that they didn't do or like the trips they didn't do. So it's like once I read that, I was like, I want to live a life without regret. Right. I want to look back on my life when I'm old and I'm like, fuck, I did all the things I wanted to do. And instead of being like, fuck, I wish I did more with my life or more with my time or more with the whatever, right? So it's like, you just have to live. And it's all about the journey of it, right? Because it never ends. It's with business. There's always something new, right? It never ends. So, but you just got to enjoy it while you can and enjoy the process with it.
Oh, for sure.
Dave, do you have any last questions?
We kind of talked before because you were saying that like, it's such a different industry to get into and like what was it like getting into the industry as like young Asian guys?
Right. Okay.
With guns.
Yeah, with guns, because you were like it was like such a like a weird like old boys club before, and now you got these young Asian cats and they're fucking changing the game up.
I don't know. It's weird. This industry has kind of changed my perspective, not just in the industry, but like just in general about like perception, like the perception people have on you, and whether it's within the industry or outside of the industry, because our industry is kind of under like a high level of scrutiny all the time from the outside, but then even within the industry, we're subjected to a pretty high level of scrutiny as well. So when we first started, it is a bit of an old boys club, and it's just like, you know, 3 Asian kids in their garage like customizing guns. Should you trust them? A lot of our marketing is not about us, like the people. It's just about our product. All we cared about was we wanted you to take a look at the finished product and decide whether or not that was something that you wanted done, and that should be the only thing to guide your decision making. And if you look at our social media since day one, it's
really nice.
it's never about, you know, us as individuals.
I don't think there's a single photo of you guys here.
Yeah,
It's just
exactly.
really just like your service, because like when I was scrolling through that shit, it was actually addictive. Like it was like a gun Instagram.
Like we straight up called it. It's like the gun porn like strategy.
That's nice.
Yeah, I was looking at them. I was like, holy shit! Like there's more. Like next gallery, fucking going through, looking at all the colors, all this shit. Like that's why I was like, okay, I knew exactly what I wanted by the time I went to go and see you.
Right, exactly. But
This is like really custom.
yes,
Yeah.
So everything that we post is like, you know, kind of the most custom builds that we do for our customers, and all of basically 90% of the stuff that's on our Instagram or on our social media is custom, like customer work. That's stuff that they've requested to get done, and that's what we're highlighting.
Do you guys do any engraving?
We do,
crazy.
we do.
It looks like there is
Like I love those sweet like Mexican guns.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. All the scroll work. Yeah,
with
we
like
did.
the Mother Mary on like a like a ivory handle.
Yeah, we did a crazy engrave for a customer in BC, and it was like a stainless steel 1911 with all this scroll work laser engraved in, and there's just a lot of work. And yeah, so that's like something new that we're getting into as well.
That's
but,
pretty sweet.
Has someone asked to make the golden gun?
Oh, all the time.
Really?
Yeah, I have a guy in my inbox right now.
Do you guys do electrolysis for that or?
No, so like we're pretty specific to just doing Cerakote, so it'd be like it's not the same, but
like a gold like
right.
AK-47. Just joking.
Oh yeah, but like rolling back, we were not only is it like okay, we don't put our faces to the brand when we first started. Even when we first started as a business, it was super difficult to try to get like web hosting set up because there's policies on like firearms, right? Yeah.
Oh, whether what you can post and what you can't.
Exactly,
post. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And then, so for example, like even now, like we don't post anything political. We're like hyper neutral when it comes to like our social media. But even for us, like Instagram is going in and saying, hey, like your posts are against community guidelines. You can, and there are companies where Instagram will go in and delete the account.
Oh.
So for example, this is where I find it pretty interesting for us because everything that we do is like legal, and Instagram obviously is like this free platform, and a lot of people use it for advertising, but we didn't do anything wrong, and they have this power to say remove like 7 years worth of marketing that we have on there.
Did they ask you to do that?
Oh, like we get like community guideline like
All the time, I bet.
yeah, and like they'll remove certain features that we have. So for example, recently they removed like our ability to share links in our Instagram stories to like our website.
Oh, like the slide, the
Right.
swipe
Right.
up.
Exactly. Yeah. So we were using that for a really long time, and same thing. Like, yeah. So this is a weird industry for us because.
So it's actually harder. Like, I guess I didn't even think about that because it's like, yeah, gun does have,
control.
yeah. Like,
Also, think about it.
yeah.
Like since we started our business, we've never taken any loans from the bank. We haven't been able to like develop like even like good credit with the bank because
Oh, they don't want to deal with you.
exactly.
Yeah.
We went to the BDC when we were trying to get our first milling machine to get like a loan for like $50,000, and we went to basically the last stage until they figured out what we do as a business. And it's like, oh yeah, like where the like I guess all the financial facilities that like put money into the BDC, this is against their policies.
Oh, crazy.
So we won't be able to lend you, whatever for this equipment. So almost everything has to come like privately, or we have to do everything ourselves. So even like web hosting, like I said, like between Shopify, Squarespace.
You couldn't put the guns on Shopify.
Yeah, so you can't. So Squarespace, you can't use their e-commerce system to sell guns. So we had to use Shopify. But then Shopify, their merchant terminals couldn't process gun orders. So then you have to like use Moneris or whoever. So you have to like jump through all these hoops all the time because every company has these different policies. And I don't know, it's funny. I was telling David about this last time. Like, when we first, I grew up in Canada, born and raised, like, but visible minority, you're taught about all this, like, multiculturalism and, like, don't, like, discriminate and all this stuff.
Were you born in Calgary?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Born and raised.
I went to Ernest Manning.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
He's 2 grades younger than us. I remember Jay actually. Now that we were talking about it.
Yeah.
So we were in the same school.
Yeah. Over.
That's actually one of the things I was gonna mention.
Yeah. I ended up dropping out, like, in.
He was in grade 10 and we were in grade
yeah.
12.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I
barely knew any of the grade 10.
grade 12. I wasn't even there. So
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's the minute I got like a pal and started a business within the firearms industry, I like the level of like discrimination by companies and by like financial institutes, like it was just like mind-boggling to me. And everything that we were doing was just above board. And so much of even like a big segment of our business is we're a service provider for like law enforcement and military. You know, it's just like mind-boggling to me.
It should be easier now, no, with being servicing like the military. No,
No,
it's even harder.
they don't care. They don't
Really?
care. It doesn't matter. No.
Crazy.
There's crazy gun control going on
Yeah,
right now,
yeah.
and it's getting harder and harder every year.
Yeah.
Look at this pink one.
Yeah.
Was that a girl?
You know what? I don't remember actually. Yes, possibly. Yeah.
I think our buddy has one that is a CZ that he brought to you,
Yeah.
and it's like pink or something like that.
Oh, geez, yeah.
Yeah.
I would tell you the name of that customer. I'm pretty sure I know who that is. Yeah.
He showed it to me.
Yeah.
So he might come shooting on Friday too.
He's a dentist.
Oh, maybe not that one.
Damn.
So
okay.
what's this thing on Friday that we're going to? Going to your store?
No,
or-
we were just talking about it like earlier this week.
We're just gonna go to the range because we're trying to get.
I don't want to go to the range, man. I want to go do some action
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. No.
No,
You
you
got
can't
this.
do that.
This is like the driving range. Basically.
You're not certified for that, bro.
You gotta learn. Yeah, you gotta learn how to walk before you like run, right?
I'm working towards that. Like I want to get my like just do like some competition long shooting.
So you need to
You have to have the license.
to do those shooting ranges.
Yeah, like the walk
Oh.
around ones, like the active shooting.
Oh, you can't just go do that.
No,
Oh, I thought that's what we were doing Friday.
No, this is just like a work up to that.
Oh.
this is just the driving range.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I just jumped right into it.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's just like you're like wanting to like go into like a Formula One car, you know, tomorrow.
Dude, that's what I did with skiing.
That's like watching YouTube and going skiing on a mountain. That's not how you do it, bro.
Last year, I didn't know how to ski. Didn't learn. I just literally, my first time off the skis was off the chairlift.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And how was that experience?
That was a funny. I called you or Mel.
You called Mel, yeah.
And I was stuck on the hill.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, you need to call the helicopter
to pick me up.
To pick me up.
I thought that he was like hurt or something like that.
Oh
But
my
I'm
God.
not moving.
We come down, he's just on like a regular hill. I'm like, the hell, you just called us all the way up here, like freaking out. Then it was just like something really casual,
Yeah, there's some things you can dive into.
but not with guns.
Yeah, no,
like,
no.
Fair
It's
enough.
very
Yeah.
like you need to have very safe stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Fair enough.
Yeah.
yeah, like it's not like something to be messing around with. Yeah, that's crazy. Actually, what happened with Alec Baldwin?
Oh, geez, we were talking about that at the shop today.
Yeah.
That's like a total like foobar from like the prop guy, right?
It's a blank though, wasn't it?
See, that's what I mean is like that should have like never happened. And
Yeah.
like they like whoever is doing that job is supposed to be like
Checking
doing
much.
all these multiple checks and they should be just be hyper diligent. But
Alec Baldwin, he was shooting a gun and it killed a like film director.
yeah, like it's supposed to shoot blanks.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like how Bruce Lee's son died.
Lee died,
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
I didn't know.
Yeah. So similar kind of
He got
scenario.
shot in the crow
Yeah.
and he died.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't know that.
So
It's crazy, man.
dangerous.
Gun
You
control.
gotta respect the equipment. So
Jay, any
last words.
exactly.
Oh my God, all of them. I know. Yeah. What do you guys want to know?
Well, it's pretty much anything you want to share
Words
to
of
the listeners.
advice.
Business, guns, anything, man.
Yeah, I'd say we're located in Calgary. Check us out. We have a lovely showroom. If you want to learn something, and if you're like just unfamiliar with the industry, we welcome you to come in and hopefully learn something from us.
That'll be me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Really, like
It's sick.
yeah, not everyone needs to go out and buy a gun and get a gun license, but like even just like to educate yourself, right? Come in, chat us up. Hopefully you'll learn something and have newfound knowledge for the industry.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share about business, building a business, growing a business, advice, anything?
Jeez. Although I went into business with a bunch of friends, don't go into business with your friends.
I wanted to ask you that actually. How? Yeah.
Yeah, like it was a necessary evil. I think
What was that?
a necessary evil. Yeah.
Unnecessary evil.
Yeah, for us, like business is just a whole bunch of catch 22s and dichotomies. I think it's just we could not have done our business and we could not have succeeded unless we went to business as friends. But it was super, super difficult. And as long as you can come out on the other side, I think there are benefits to it. There are a lot of people that I know that went to business as like an individual and did not want to go through that same level of hardship potentially, because they knew that they might not work well with others. For us, we took the risk, and it was for sure difficult. However, I think we for sure have survived because we leaned on each other when we needed to. And any opportunity to expand and grow, there were others to help take up the slack, right? So, it's like the advice is nothing. It's like you're doomed if you do, and like I don't know, you're doomed if you don't.
Well, how about this?
Yeah.
Answer that question then.
Yeah.
How did you guys overcome that friendship and the business? Where,
Jeez.
like, what pushed you guys, and what was it that like made you guys stay together, and continue to do business together through like the hard times? Because doing business with friends is hard.
Yep.
Yeah, we learned that.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's like how big is your vision? How big is your company? And that is bigger than any one person that is part of it, really, at the end of the day. So if you built, for us, we built a brand, there is this ethos. It is bigger than any one person and their ego or whatever. So over time, you just learn to communicate better. You learn to stay in your own lane generally, unless things are being steered into the ditch, then you kind of have to say something, and knowing when to say something is important and how to say it. I think the communication piece is huge.
100,000%.
Right. Like
you nailed it right there.
right.
Yeah.
You have to wake up next day and work with the person again.
Yeah.
And if people are upset, you're making decisions every day.
Yeah.
If there's any animosity during those decision-making processes, that will absolutely like alter your ability to make clear decisions, right? So communication, I think, is massive. Yeah.
It is.
100%, man.
Cornerstone to a good business.
Oh.
Is comms.
Always. And it's so easy to lose sight of that, like every day.
We, in like our business, it's just we have to be complete with everyone.
Yeah.
And so there's no drama, resentment, or
Like animosity.
animosity.
Yeah.
And I think that is pivotal
Yeah.
to your company growing.
Yeah.
Because with that shit lingering in the back, it will come out.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll come out in your work, and it'll come out to the clients. It'll come out everywhere.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Composure and discretion. Like, you don't want to be airing your dirty laundry. Like every business has dirty laundry, but it should never affect the customer experience.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's good. Good advice.
Yeah. So your Instagram.
Black box.
Oh my God. Get ready for this. It is one word, Black Box Customs with an underscore. And if you do not type out the entire thing, it will not show up on Instagram's search feed because we are shadow banned.
Censored.
Yes.
Shit.
So try it right now. If you just type in Black Box Customs, it won't show up on the search.
Damn.
You have to scroll to the very, very bottom.
You're shadow banned.
Yes.
How do you guys?
Conspiracies. No, I'm just kidding.
How do you guys advertise that stuff then on Instagram?
Luckily, we've developed
that's true.
quite a bit
You
of
don't see it.
quite a bit of momentum, and we market on a lot of different places, and a lot of people reshare. And luckily, within our community, the people that like are looking for it will find us generally. So
Yeah, if you don't put that underline.
yeah. Oh, that underscore.
Yeah, the underscore, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So that's what I mean. Like, this is like the stuff we like have to deal with every once in a while.
Overcoming censorship.
Yeah, which is funny because it's like perpetuating. I don't know. Yeah.
And where's your? I don't know if you shared your
Store looks.
Oh yeah, like we're in the Foothills Industrial in Calgary. It's like 4420 75th Avenue Southeast.
Yeah.
Bay number 8.
And the website is just Blackbox Customs.
Blackboxcustoms.com because we're not amateurs. No, I'm just kidding. We own .ca as well.
You gotta own both.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even think
we do.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We did .com because we didn't know if we were ever going to expand like outside of Canada. So it was always just like good to have that one.
Yeah, for sure. You need both.
There you go.
Well, got it, man. Thanks for coming on, Jay.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
Great
Great
conversation.
episode, yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
We'll see you next Friday.
Take care.
Yep.